Next up, Cllr Michael Mulligan.
Thank you, Cllr. Well, what happened in Strokestown on last Tuesday night can only be described as sheer thuggery at its worst, and it's going to happen again and again in County Roscommon, with at least 12 cases, eviction cases pinned in County Roscommon, and sadly 3 of them are in the Boyle municipal area, which I'm a member. The bank and the government need to Copters is on about this awful mess, and the bank and the government need to sit down and see how they're going to get out of this awful mess. The people bailed out the banks, and what did the banks do? The banks literally shit down on top of them. That's what they did. And this thing can be solved. There's nothing that can't be solved. It's an awful thing to think that a person is in mortgage arrears and they won't get 1 penny off from the banks, but yet a vulture fund can get 60% off. Now, this law has to change, and sometimes the write-down debt, if the people that would be in difficulties, if they got 15 or 20% of a write-down, they'd be over the trouble that they're in. But the banks won't listen to them. I've seen the banks. I dealt with 2 evictions myself. Funny enough, they were in the Strokestown area as well. And it was horrendous. And the sad thing about it, what happened on Tuesday night was done under the supervision of the guards. Maybe that's the wrong word, the supervision, but the guards were there having a watch and brief, and they didn't stop people getting battered on the ground. And I think that's very, 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 very shameful. And Charlie Flanagan needs to have a look into this. Now, what happened again on Saturday night will be, if there's not proper negotiations done, and if the law isn't changed, what happened on Saturday night is going to happen again and again. People don't realise how bad people are, the situation people are in. I'm dealing with them every day. I have talked to banks, and I never talked to a more ignorant crowd than banks. But, as I said, it can be changed through common sense and negotiation. But what happened Saturday night is going to happen again and again right across the country if the law isn't changed and if people isn't given a chance. And to put a person out of their own home a week before Christmas is criminal. These particular people, they shouldn't have been put out of their own home. There was other assets there they could have taken, but they didn't take them. They went, and you know why? Because they're a buyer for the home. This is what's going on. They're selling these properties to vulture funds who have buyers, and usually they're their own buddies. The question I'd like to ask the Council is this: what arrangements are in place with the Housing Department for people that are going to be come in through evictions? Because there's going to be at least 12 families coming in if this doesn't change. And I'd like to put a proposal here before the Council that Roscommon County Council write to the Minister for Finance and that the laws governing bad debt and mortgage be changed. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. As I said, it's going to happen again and again if it's not changed. And these are evictions. I'm not going back to olden times, but it's a throwback to the old days, and that's all I'll say on it.